Are you up for the challenge? Yes, it's that time of year again. A new F1 game is just around the corner, and it's time for FormulaXbox Season 5 application processes to begin. And so as you can see on this fantastic poster we've made, it says go to formulaxbox.moonfruit.com to find out all the information you need for Season 5. And if you fancy having a go in this fantastic racing league, then that's where you need to go to find out all your additional information and start the application process. So big thank you to Hamilton Fan for making this poster, and without further ado, we'll move on to the highlights of Abu Dhabi. Hello and welcome to FormulaXbox. It's round 19 and we are here in Abu Dhabi for what promises to be another classic, as we have Drastic Midget in 5th on the grid. We got Sam in P4, James Lang P6 in behind the Red Bull. So as we have 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, and as the revs rise, 5, and it's lights out and away we go in Abu Dhabi. Drastic Midget still in P5, but he's got the jump on Sam as they head into Turn 1. F1 AMG Aaron, the debutant in Tier 1, goes very wide into Turn 1. Drastic Midget takes avoiding action. It seems like the McLaren of Jokers maintains the lead after he had pole position. It looks like Pro Racing has tucked into P2 with Sam in P3 and Drastic Midget making up ground at the start in P4. But it looks like Aaron's having a look. No, he's had to forget that move. It wasn't really on into the chicane, and Drastic Midget maintains the place. So as we see the perspective of the start now from ElusiveKev in P9, and obviously a bit of congestion Turn 1, little bit of contact, but it seems like everybody's just about through safely. As there's big contact there, and that's a very bad crash with ElusiveKev. Actually makes up ground, but I think him and James came to blows going through the apex of 2, and they took out a Ferrari stop mat, I believe, with them, as we see on board from his perspective now. And I believe we had a Toro Rosso involved there as well, of Sir Lane, who's another one of the returning Tier 1 drivers, you have to say. And as we see here, yeah, Stopmat just got caught up, wrong place, wrong time, and caught up in an accident there. So Sir Lane and Stopmat have got a lot of ground to make up now, as we see Drastic Midget later on in that one, still battling, still trying to hold off the Sauber as he goes deep into the corner there, and Aaron's gone through, so Aaron's back up into P4, Drastic Midget back down to P5, as we see ElusiveKev in P7 now. He's got the Williams of James Lang right behind him, and ElusiveKev locks up the right front, and he's got James around his outside. So ElusiveKev almost seemed like he conceded the position there. It was a battle which wasn't really going to come to much for him, I'm afraid, as we see Stopmat now closing in on ElusiveKev. And is he going to have a go at the end of the DRS zone? He goes into Turn 7 and he's through. So easy does it there from Stopmat through past ElusiveKev in the Force India, and Kev now down to P9 with Sir Lane on his first race back in the series, trying to close in on the seasoned veteran. As we see from Stopmat's perspective now, with the DRS later on the brakes, and the move was quite a simple one, you've got to say, at the end there. So neatly done from Stopmat up to P8 now, as he looks to continue his recovery drive. And later on the lap, here's ElusiveKev. He's locked up again. Stopmat's locked up as well, but nowhere near as drastically as ElusiveKev. And that's, well, you have to say he didn't actually lose too much ground there in the end. But as we see now, Drastic Midget is watching this battle unfold between Sam and Aaron's gone for a spin there. Bit of contact with Sam. I think a side pod glitch was involved, if you ask me, but now Drastic Midget looking to capitalise on that. He's got the DRS, he's going around the outside of Sam, and Drastic Midget up into P2 as he knows Sam's still just alongside. Bit of lag involved. Sam holds on to the position, and Drastic Midget is very hungry indeed to get on the podium here, but not just on the podium, to elevate himself into P2. And with Jokers behind him, he needs to get a hurry up, because Jokers is fast, and Jokers coming around the outside now, but just because Drastic Midget is heading into the pits for his first stop. So we saw him blink early on in Japan. It seems he's doing a similar thing here as he comes into the pits, switching onto the medium compound tyre, the prime compound tyre, as we see the Ferrari boys ready as well, waiting for Stopmat possibly. And yes, I believe so, because ElusiveKev is now back ahead of the Ferrari, and ElusiveKev is now passing Sir Lane as well. So ElusiveKev up to P6, but obviously that's all relative at the moment, because he needs to stop. Obviously he started on the prime compound tyre, whereas a lot of other people started on the softs, and so his stop will come much later in the race, perhaps in the next, well, probably in 2 laps time would be my guess. As we see now, a bit of a corner cut warning there for ElusiveKev, but not too much ground gain, as we see StopMat now in, and the Ferrari boys go to work putting on the soft tyres. A decent pit stop, 3.1, and he's back out there again, so he's got to do the work all over again and passing ElusiveKev as he goes wide, and StopMat says thank you very much and is back through into P6 now. So it's actually quite a good recovery from StopMat, as we see as it all shakes out in P7. It's a replay how he got behind ElusiveKev in the first place as he passed Sir Lane, and you have to say it's quite a good recovery drive from StopMat so far. He's doing quite a good job, as we see Sir Lane now past ElusiveKev, capitalising on the mistake Kev made, just went a little bit too deep into the chicane, and Sir Lane has punished him for it. As we see now StopMat in P5, the Williams of James Lang in P6, Williams down the inside of the Ferrari, but it looks like he's gone way too deep there. StopMat's going to try and get the cutback, and he's got it. Indeed, doesn't need the cutback because he's gone straight around the outside at the second part of the chicane, but he's had to slow down. He's exceeded track limits there, and it looks like the Williams is back in the slipstream of the Ferrari. He's going to go down the outside. Is he, Lang, on the outside of StopMat? Under braking, he looks like he's gone deep again maybe. StopMat's gone for the tight apex and he's just covered the position off. So StopMat maintains P5 there, and that was a good effort from him. As we see now Drastic Midget in P3, Pro Racing, StopMat's teammate, in P2, and Drastic Midget now, is he going to get on the DRS? No, he's not quite in range, and he's got Sam behind him, has he? Yes, he has. So Drastic Midget now under braking, and he's just about made it through the apex. He's closing in on Pro Racing, got to say, but oh, he's all out of shape. Big oversteer moment in the exit, manages to catch it. As we see ElusiveKev now battling it out with Under Described, and he's through. So both Sauber drivers in this race won't be scoring points, but they're there to make up the numbers as we get some smaller lobbies towards the end of this season. But a good bit of experience for them, and nice to see some fresh faces in the league. As we see now Drastic Midget still trying to hunt down Pro Racing in P2. He's on the podium in the Red Bull, but wants so much more from this race as he heads it. Oh, Pro Racing's gone wide. Now this is Drastic Midget's chance. Can he capitalise on this? Pro Racing back on the circuit now, and Drastic Midget goes around the outside, and it's P2 for him. Now can he hold him off? Jokers is quite a way up the road, so I think Jokers has got this one sewn up. But as we see ElusiveKev heading wide now into the last corner, Under Described, they're having quite a good battle, them two, as Drastic Midget's all out of shape again in the chicanes. He's having to really wring the neck of this Red Bull, and he's gone deep, and Pro Racing's gone through. But having seen how Drastic Midget was hauling that Red Bull through the corners, I'm not surprised he went deep there. And will he be able to regain that place again? He's locked up, so it's all going wrong for Drastic Midget at the moment. He just seems to be struggling, whether it's his tyres or just a general grip and setup of his car, but he's really having to scramble through the corners as ElusiveKev is a bit unhappy there about the contact made by Under Described, but it was pretty minimal, you have to say. As we see Jokers has won the race now, StopMat in P4, he's got Sam behind him as his tyres are absolutely shot. He's even more out of shape through the chicane, and Sam says thank you very much. StopMat, I'll take that position. And so Sam into P4 on the final lap. StopMat's got to try and crawl home. As we see Drastic Midget now on the back of Pro Racing. I don't think he's close enough to make a move. No, Pro Racing's got good traction, and he's heading through the final sector now into the final corner. Drastic Midget's dropped it in all his efforts to try and catch the Ferrari. Hold on now, Midge, as he makes it through, and Pro Racing spun. They're all weaving across the line, but Drastic Midget claims a well-deserved P3 in the end. But it was Jokers taking out another victory on the back of his victory in India, and Pro Racing finishing in P2. And as we see what it does to the standings, RLS who didn't actually attend this race, still on 400 points. Jason Force actually jumps up, or is actually 221 points in the championship now, jumps even closer to RLS but cannot catch him before the end. Sam in P3, and Pro Racing jumps up to P4 with Insignia taking a big drop to P7. So that was your Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.